Welcome to The Riff, brought to you by mytoronto.ca, where two internationally acclaimed artists, painter and animator Gary O'Brien and jazz fusion guitarist Jeremy Green, dig into Toronto's entertainment scene, where they'll be hanging out with all sorts of creative minds, from music, comedy, sports, theater, and everything that lurks in between, with a special spotlight on our foodie culture.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Riff. My name's Gary, and here we are on The Riff, and for another exciting episode. And why do we call it The Riff? Well, not only is it a noun, a person, place, or thing, where we have a chat and we discuss things, plus it could be a verb, as in riffing, as in chatting with our guests and expanding on
You've actually
topics.
Thought about this.
Yes, and we'll hooked on phonics here. And so, also, of course, a lot of our talk here on The Riff is very much music-centric. So you can always expect me talking about a guitar riff, right? And no other person better to offer that is my co-host, virtuoso guitar player Jeremy Green. Jeremy, how are you?
I'm good. Just flying in on the helicopter. Yeah. No, things are good, man.
Nest, on the way up, looking high above the city.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. No, things are good, man. Life is good. Yeah, no complaints. Working on a new album and it's coming up, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, I got Keith Carlock on, Mike Stern's going to be on, Will Lee, similar lineup to some of the stuff before, so that's really cool.
Heavy hitters, yeah.
Working on that a lot, which is a lot of fun. So
cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I have something to get off my chest. Not so much get off my chest, but something that happened just recently. I
sit on the couch over here.
Lie down and charge me $200 an hour here.
Pull out my book.
The other night we're my wife and I, and my son, we're all just hanging out, the three of us, and we're just hanging out in the family room, and it was a nice night. My wife stepped outside the front door there just to see what kind of night it was. A nice evening. She comes back in, and I think my son stepped out for a bit and came back in, right? So it was kind of activity at the door. And then we all sat down, chit-chatting and hanging out. And then a moment later, the door opens, and the guy walks in. I'm not even kidding. Someone walks into my house.
A stranger.
Walks into my house. And I'm like, what's going on here? First thought, what's happening here, right? Like fight or flight kind of thing. What's going on, right? And then my wife, she goes, "Hi, how are you?" As if we're expecting people or something. She says, "Hi." I'm like, "Can I help you? What's going on here?" Right? And so this guy walks in. He starts taking his shoes off. And I'm like, "Excuse me, who are you?" kind of thing. Right? He's like, stops. He goes, "Oh, I'm in the wrong house. Sorry." And I was like, because I'm looking at this guy going, he's carrying a few things and stuff like that. I'm going, "What are you looking for?" He goes, "Oh, I'm looking for number, such and such." I said, "You're 2 doors down, right? You're in the wrong house." "Oh, sorry." He just took off, closed the door. And we're stuck there kind of going, what just happened, right? And so the next day, my wife was out the door early, and this guy was leaving the neighbor's house. I guess he must have stayed over, right? And so she's like, "Good morning." He's like, "Good morning," kind of the walk of shame, kind of getting out there, right? And so later that day or the next day, I saw the neighbor that lives 2 doors down. He goes, "I heard you met my buddy." I was like, "Yeah, I did meet your buddy, and it scared the hell out of me," right? I was like, I had no idea who this guy was, right? He goes, "Yeah, I'm really sorry about that." I said, "Don't worry, we just took it as an honest mistake, because I've never seen a burglar walk in with a 12 case of beer and some snacks and stuff in his arm." Yeah. So anyway, it was an honest mistake.
Kick the wife out.
Everything was fine, yeah. So I guess he was staying for the hockey game and, having a couple of pops. But anyway, holy smokes.
That would wake you up.
That would wake you up. Definitely caught me off guard.
Reminds me of a good story with a buddy that we all at this table know. We was on a guy's weekend, and he went out, got really, really hammered, passed out. In the middle of the night, he got up to go get something. I don't remember why he left his room, but we were in a hotel up in Bala. So he comes out of his room and he leaves. And then he comes back, he goes in, he closes the door and turns around, and some dude is sleeping in his bed.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What am I going to do?" So the guy ends up after a lot of pacing and trying to figure it out, he just climbs in bed with this stranger. And this is a true story, I swear. And so they wake up in the morning. So morning comes and the guy opens up his eyes and the stranger guy is like pacing back and forth like he's kind of rubbing his head and he's like all confused or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, dude, like, what are you doing in my room or whatever? And he's like, yeah, this is a fucked up situation. And they just like totally. But he just actually climbs in bed with the guy.
Oh my God.
I'm like, why didn't you like go to one of your buddies' rooms or something? He's like, well, he was out to sleep. He was all wasted, right? Just what a day.
I booked the room.
Anyway, that reminded me of that. So
Okay, that's pretty funny. That's unusual and it's scary, but pretty funny at the same time.
Brian Reddish.
We have a fantastic guest here today that I'd like to get to, and before we do, I'd like to read the bio. So without further ado, today on the show, we've got a seasoned guitarist with over 20 years of experience across rock, pop, R&B, jazz, and country. He's played thousands of live shows, including 800 plus performances aboard the Norwegian Breakaway Cruise with such musical productions as Rock of Ages and Burn the Floor, and has credits in productions like Beetlejuice, Moulin Rouge, In Dreams, all from Mirvish Productions. Also, Come From Away, Kinky Boots, and Legally Blonde. He's co-founder and lead guitarist of ACDC show Canada and Epic Elton, performing 100 plus shows a year, and has also collaborated with tribute acts like the official Blues Brothers Review. Along the way, he's worked with artists like Alfie Zappacosta, Aaron Walpole, and Terry Hattie from the Guess Who, and is commencing to record new music for an upcoming solo project. Our guest today is Gino Del Sole.
Perfect.
How's that?
Thank
Welcome
you.
to Gino.
Beautiful.
How are you?
Thank you.
Good to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the Riff.
Yeah.
How are things then? And musically,
Things are great. Really
Okay.
good. I couldn't be happier. Just I've been very busy this year with doing the shows and relocating my life.
New
I just
house?
purchased a house
Congrats, yeah.
last week, and
Big milestone, yeah.
It's a huge milestone. It's something I've been sort of hoping for and planning for the last 20 years or so. It's tough when you're just, self-employed and
musicians are tough.
I've been not without a partner for a long time, but that's changing anyway. So that's all good. That's in the works. But
Excellent.
it's a big thing. It's a big thing to do, just to acquire enough sort of capital or whatever, and all this kind of stuff to make it happen. So it's a big thing for me. It's a big move.
Yeah.
But luckily, I've been really busy with work and making great connections.
Well,
like
you're clearly
Jeremy.
doing well. If you can buy a house as a musician, you're clearly doing well, especially in this day and age. So
Yeah.
The old days, these houses are expensive now, especially
Yeah, it's
anywhere in Toronto. Boy,
It's well, it's not in Toronto; it's in Hamilton. Toronto is just out of reach for me as a single income person right now. But
this whole area, all the way down to there, it's all expensive now. Like everything, all the way across. It's crazy.
So basically, bought in Hamilton, but anything in Toronto is basically around twice as much. So
Sure.
it's just out of reach for somebody like myself. So I'm doing what I can and getting in the market. And
Well, that's the latest stuff, I guess. So
yeah,
that's
exciting.
great. That's good. So let's rewind a bit. Let's step back and go back to tell us a little bit about where you grew up. How you grew up, Betty. That kind of thing. In terms of your first musical impacts as a kid, or what was your first impressions?
So I'm from Sudbury. I moved here in, I guess, 1988. I'm probably dating myself, but at this point,
okay.
I don't care anymore. So, I lived in Sudbury for up until around 1988. And I was got into a band in late high school. So I started playing in a local band, a band called Victim. And at that point, I was it's just a cover band. We're playing around town, and then I went to college for a couple of years, and then a couple of guys were like, "Oh, we need to go on the road." So we did that. I did that for a number of years, and then it was around 87. I joined another band called The Warning. It was an ACDC tribute half thing, and originals and covers, and did that for about a year, and decided, I think I just want to move to Toronto. So and try to get something going. And I had something going for a little while, and then I had an unfortunate accident and recovered from that, and tried to get something going around 93-ish, original project-wise. Mm-hmm. And it was really tough at that time, because the hard rock thing was on the way out.
Grunge
and all that stuff.
As grunge stepped in.
So, it kind of...
Any guitar solos are required for a virtuoso guitarist. Just one.
Yeah, exactly. So I decided to go to Humber College and learn jazz and learn how to read a little bit. You know, my reading is still not great, but I work at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, my ex-wife suggested, why don't you just go to school and learn how to read, and then you can play any music you want in the city and just stay in town, which is a brilliant idea. So I did that.
It's a good woman.
And
An investment in yourself, really.
Absolutely. So I auditioned for Ted Quinlan. Hi, Ted. How you doing? He's an awesome player. He's just a beautiful jazz player, and he still plays in the city. He's quite active. And
everyone speaks wonderful about Ted. Yeah.
Ted is the guy. Yeah. So he accepted me, and I got into the program and worked my ass off, and you know, got my sort of reading chops together and learned about jazz and all that stuff. And, you know, everybody there was just amazing. All the teachers, all the people I learned to, work with or whatever, just friends I made. I still talk to most of them all the time. You know, there's still people I work with and contact with
that's
regularly.
Kind of one of the things I always regretted not going to music college.
The networking
is about what I missed. Like I think I did okay with figuring out how to play the instrument.
Sure. Yeah, you did.
But thanks, dude. But I never got that. I never got the professional network. And it's like, you know, when a gig comes up and somebody needs a replacement guitar player, the first people they think of is the people they went to school with. Because A, they can trust them. B, they know they can read. They have all the jet boxes.
Long history of the
So there's no risk in subbing out to a guy like that. But it's like when you don't have the music school thing, it kind of really puts you on the outside, which is, so I am mildly jealous of that, but not,
So, you know. In terms of like, in those kind of earlier days, what was the kind of that first sort of big break moment for you? It's like, was there a gig, a band, or some sort of moment that made you feel like, hey, this is what I'm supposed to be doing?
Are we talking about like, when I first started in Sudbury or around Humber College? When
it's up to you. Like, what was that big break for you?
The very first one was, okay, so I'm in auto mechanics in grade 10. You know, and one of my friends, classmates, Dan Cacciati, hi Dan, he says, "Hey man, I hear you can play guitar, man." I'm like, "Yeah, I play." He's like, "Well, my brother plays in the band, and they need a guitar player. Do you want to try out?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll try out." So, anyway, we hooked up, and I met his brother, Bob, older fellow, the drummer and the bass player, and I went to try out and, you know, played a few tunes, and they're like, "Yeah, great. We like you. You're in the band, right?" I'm like, "Okay, great." So that's like the first thing. I was like, "Wow, this is cool. I'm in a band now, right?"
Right.
I'd had a couple things before, but it wasn't really, you know, we knew like 3 songs. But this was like, okay, you got to learn like 20 songs now, right? So
before we go further, why did you start playing in the very first place? Like, what was the thing? Like, was there a boom?
Well, I mean, growing up in Sudbury in the 70s, yes, the 70s. So, you know, I mean, it's a very social thing. Everybody knew each other on the street, and my brother and I were hanging out with one of our neighbors, and everybody's listening to music all the time. One of the neighbors had music coming out of his basement all the time. We're like, "What is this playing?" "Oh, this is Kiss." We're like, "What the hell is Kiss?" This is a band, and he showed us the cover. I'm like, whoa, right? Yeah. It was Kiss Alive, right?
Sure. Yeah.
We're like, what the F is this?
That's the first
amazing,
album,
right?
My first album.
It was Ace, right? It was like, this guy is amazing, right? So we bought the record. Like, it was on our record player like 24/7 for a couple months. It was like, so I guess the first person that exposed me to, you know, hard rock and all that stuff would have been Ace, for sure. Ace Frehley.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Ace.
But did you have a guitar in your house? Like, how did the guitar get in your hand?
My brother had a crappy acoustic guitar where the action was this big, but I bought a Les Paul, a copy, which I actually own now. I bought it from him a couple years ago. You know, he had that, and he'd played. I was kind of goofing around, but, you know, what's Ace? I was like, oh, okay, I got to learn this stuff, right? So that would have been like the first sort of spark that got me playing as a hobbyist, I guess, if you will. But I guess the other big moment would have been when ACDC came out. This would have been 80 or 81. You couldn't go anywhere in Sudbury. You drive down the street, you go to the mall, everybody was carrying, used to call them ghetto blasters.
That's
or
right.
driving down, Main Street with the convertibles open, just back and black playing, and it was everywhere. You couldn't escape it. I'm like, it's pretty good. Like everybody was in love with that record.
Yeah,
And
it sounded so new. Like,
was just
like I
fresh.
liked ACDC, the early, like Bon Scott, I love that stuff. But that Brian Johnson stuff,
Yes.
when that hit, it just sounded like so tight. And,
Yes.
and it was
a
next level. Like,
it was a well polished, really commercial, you
Yeah.
know, thing that got just put them over the edge.
I still
obviously.
prefer the early stuff, the Bond stuff. I love Bon Scott. I'm a huge Bon Scott fan.
Sure.
But that Brian Johnson stuff, man,
Yeah,
for radio rock,
absolutely.
Oh, sure.
that was
They
like,
nailed it.
bam.
They
They had the right recipe, and they went with that recipe for years.
That
you know.
record is still selling
Sure.
off the shelves, right?
Yeah, and,
it sounds
it's
new.
nowadays, like the younger generation, they know all those songs
Yeah.
too. right?
Absolutely.
It made an impression.
It's fresh and new sounding
sure did.
Yeah.
still. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's-
So now, in regards to more recent things, you've described yourself as a guitarist, traveler, entertainer.
Yes.
Right? So how does the travel become such a part of the musical journey? Is there a destination that kind of switched that on?
I think the reason why I came up with that title is a while ago I started doing some cruise ship work just because I wanted to really work steady, and I got offered to do Rock of Ages on the ship, and it was a great opportunity at that time. So you know, when you're working on a cruise ship, you get a chance to go wherever. I mean, the cruise ship just. So a lot of Caribbean, you know, days off, it just hit the beach and get some
Very good,
sun.
yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah.
But you know, you're working basically every day for a good salary, so you can save a bit of money and pay off any debt or whatever. You get to travel the world for free. So one of the last cruises I did was to the Mediterranean, playing in Europe, and so I got to go to Italy and see my relatives. You know,
That's
I hadn't seen them for like
fantastic.
35 years or whatever.
What a
and hang
bonus,
out. Like,
yeah.
You know, texted my cousin on the phone, say, "Hey, I'm in Rome. Like, come and have lunch with me," right? So it was amazing.
What a
right?
great opportunity.
Yes, for sure.
Wow.
So, you know, Italy, Spain, Greece, France, like all of these places that would normally cost a fortune to go visit.
Yeah.
So there was that element of it. But, you know, so I did that for a while, for about, you know, almost 10 years on and off. You're usually doing a contract for 6 months and then you're home for 6 months kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
But it's a great way to travel the world for free and make some money and, you know, kind of build a bit of a nest egg and a plan.
Yeah, it's something reliable, dependable.
It's
that's,
reliable income, you know. But
as a gigging musician, you don't always have that, right?
yes, so that's great. The only other the challenge with that is if you're away from home for too long, you start to, you know, people are like, oh, he's gone on a cruise ship, so I'm not can't really hire him. But
Yeah, you
know,
lose
so
all the connections
You
that you
lose
made.
some connections, but so you know you have to
Bit of a-
reestablish those. But thankfully, all the people that I knew before I went on the cruise were like, you know, still good friends and still hire
Yeah.
me a lot. So you know,
You have a bit of a trade-off, but, you know, worthwhile.
there's always a trade-off for music or anything. You have to give
Yeah.
up one thing to get another thing. It's just that's the
Yeah.
way it works.
Yeah,
Even
it's
with guitars, right?
Well, it's everything. Yeah, I always remember a good friend of mine, Aubrey Dale. He's an incredible drummer. He always said, no matter what you do in life, you pay. You know, so Eddie's right. So it's like, yeah, you take the steady paycheck of being a musician, but what that means is that you're gigging while all your friends are having fun.
This is
like
true.
you're never. If you take a steady gig and you're gigging Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that means you don't see any of your friends
Yes.
and family because that's when they're off work.
That's right.
So it's like I got this is a great gig, but now I have no
Right.
friends and fun.
Right.
Or that's like now I have no money, but now I'm seeing everybody. So either way you pay, there's a give and a take.
It's all give and take for sure.
Yeah.
I want single coil pickups. Well, it's going to make noise. So
That's right, yeah.
I want humbucking. Well, it's not going to be single coil. So it's
Now we're getting
this
the
is
weeds
guitar
here, yeah.
geek stuff.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Jeremy knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you can't get anything for free.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
But it's all good. This is life, and this is what we do. So you just have to decide.
Yeah. So you've traveled, you've went away, but you've also worked here at home too, as
Yes.
well, right? So in regards to like working on these high-profile like theater productions, right? What was the biggest lesson you took from theater that you can apply to the concert gigging life?
So obviously you have to be good. You have to be able to deliver the goods, and play. It's a pretty high pressure situation. I mean, if you're doing any of the shows downtown, you're basically playing for about 2,000 people a night. So
Wow.
you have to be prepared. You have to deliver the goods. It's like when the Jays get a pinch hitter or whatever, like you're a plate, like you got to deliver. You got to bring in the numbers. So you have to deliver. The other thing so you have to be prepared and do your job well. But you got to be like you have to be able to get along with people. This is the main thing.
Hey, we're just going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this. Want more of The Riff? Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube at mytoronto.ca. That's my-toronto.ca. You can also visit us at our website at mytoronto.ca. Again, that's my-toronto.ca. And we're back.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Like in terms of working with a big cast, what's that like? Is there drama? Is there like a lot of
usually not
personalities?
Not these days. There's always personalities with theater and a thing like this. But you know, when we're in the pit, we're in the band. We don't really. We know the actors. We see them, but we're not working with them every day so much like that. You know, it's more like hi bye, how you doing thing. But so you know, we're not in the dressing room with the actors and actresses and this kind of thing. So you know. Usually, well, not usually, all the time, all the band members I've played in these situations, they're all like amazing guys. They're amazing players. They can play, they can...
Oh, yeah, you don't get that gig without being...
Yeah, so-
everyone there is good.
And they're always helpful,
Yeah.
you know, and just they're great, and they're just really great people, you know. So
Do you find you have to raise your A game? Like,
oh yeah, you got to
talented players.
you got to bring it.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah,
and the pressure of the show must go on, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be there every night,
absolutely, for sure.
top of your game.
Yeah, every night it's got to be consistent.
And so if that's the day to day, then what's it like when the show is over? It's done its run, and is it like kind of the end of school year kind of thing? Goodbye, we'll see you next summer, kind of, or whatever, at the end of summer, or whatever.
Pretty much, yeah.
What's that like? Yeah.
Pretty much. You know, it's always really bittersweet. You know, by the end of a run, you're like, oh, I want to do something else, right? So you're kind of done it, and but it's always sad because, you know, some people you know you're going to see again because they just do other shows and other productions. Some people, you know, if they're touring or whatever, you might not see them again. It's always bittersweet. Mm-hmm. But
That's a pretty... can we talk about how you got into that circle? Because that's a pretty tight circle.
So, sure. I was teaching at a place called Chaos Music in Etobicoke, and one of my friends, who also taught there, is a fellow named Darren Poirier, he got a gig at Stage West, you know, playing at that place. It's a dinner theater. It's not around anymore. And he said to me, he's like, one day he says, hey man, like I got this gig and I can't make all the gigs all the time. Would you be interested in doing something like that? Yeah, that sounds great. So I started subbing for him, and I got to know the MD, a fellow named Anthony Bastianon, who's amazing and who I still work with to this day. And Darren ended up going on the road with Mamma Mia, so Anthony, you know, hired me when in Darren's absence. And
What was your first show?
the first show I did was Footloose.
Oh, wow.
2000, yeah. So I subbed for Darren on that. And then there was another show called Smokey Joe's Cafe. And then somebody hired me for Grease at Ontario Place Pavilion. You know, so I started getting into theater doing that. And
That must have been mildly nerve-wracking, that first show.
absolutely. I think
Not even mildly.
I like over-prepared, you know. This is another thing. This is one of my teachers at Humber College, Art Meisty. I'm dropping names like crazy. Every
okay, it's
every
good.
time I have to.
Keep dropping them.
But he said like you can never be over-prepared for a gig, right? You just got to be prepared. So, but yeah, it was nerve-wracking.
It's funny, those kind of gigs, like, I don't have stage fright about playing, like, just like rock shows, doing whatever anywhere.
Yeah.
But things like a church or a theater gig or any of that stuff, just, oh God.
No, why does that-
It's so stressful.
Why is that different though?
I think the level of attention when you're watching a show like that, everybody's really focused
They're listening.
on the look and hearing every little thing like that. You know, maybe in a club or a different kind of setting, people are talking with their friends, they're socializing.
Yeah.
Oh, listen to the band. Oh, they sound really good. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And they'll talk to their friends. But like for a show like that, everybody's like,
They are sitting silently.
there's like
they're glued to it,
laser
yeah.
focused attention and
One
you know,
big clam you make,
yeah,
and it's
so
like sticks right
you-
out
you
like a
just-
sore thumb.
you can't, right?
And there's a lot of solo moments too, where it's
There are.
just the guitar playing the same pattern,
yeah,
repeating.
you're
very
totally
delicate.
exposed.
Yeah.
You're totally exposed.
That's a good way to put it. You're totally exposed.
Totally
right?
exposed, yeah.
Have you had any kind of like major embarrassing moments or any stories like that? where
There's
you-
always some, but I don't want to talk about it.
Still can't think about it.
a moment there.
Well,
or anything?
there was one moment where I just laugh every time. It was a long time ago. I just moved to Toronto and I was playing a questionable place. I think it was like a booze can or like a speakeasy something. It was kind of after hours. And I think they even had a barrel with the fire going for heating. We're playing this thing, and I was doing a big solo and guitar solo, and there were monitors all over the stage. I literally like ran backwards and like feet up in the air. Over to just totally wiped out on my ass. Like just like I rolled around and on the floor and made it look like part of the show. And
hey, that's what Gene Simmons says, right? If you make a mistake, do it twice.
Do it twice.
It's the funniest sound in the world when a guitar or bass, clang. I remember we were playing the Sub Pub back in high school in Pickering Town Center. There used to be a bar in the basement or whatever. And the bass player at the time, he was like, it was like a small level stage, but it was like table height almost perfect. And the bass player was hammered, and he stepped forward and he put his foot on the table, and the table collapsed inwards, and he fell right off the front of the stage. But it was a bass, so the sound of the
like just the earth shaking.
It was the funniest thing, man. Oh my god!
Wow,
Yeah.
Just his feet sticking up, and the bass
like
rumbling.
literally just feet up in the air.
Like a dead seagull or whatever.
Part of the show.
Yeah.
You got to make it work. There's another moment that came to mind. I was doing Rock of Ages on the ship, and it's in front of a theater crowd of 800 people on the ship. The theater's actually pretty big on the ship, so there's like a substage where we're the band in the club at the back, and we had to come downstage to play like we're in the concert or everything. And this one night I was running back, and I don't know, maybe my pants were too tight or something, but I went to jump back on the stage, and my toe clipped the edge of the stage.
Oh.
Fucking went. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. It's all right. Yeah, this is just a chat.
Almost head first into the drum ISO booth, and I snapped the headstock on my guitar.
No.
Yeah. It stayed in tune, though, because it's a locking nut. Jerry knows
You're
what I'm
lucky.
talking
Oh, my
about.
God.
But the headstock was literally hanging off the string like this. And there was a backup, and I grabbed it, but like I could hear like the drummer just laughing. And it was like, and I got up and played the rest of the show. Yeah, so that was...
You ever had any like storm things while you're out there? Like a lot of...
On the ship, yeah, for sure.
Like while you were playing? Like,
Yeah, some rocky waters for sure. They're pretty stable, but I remember a couple times just going to step on my pedal board. And, like the ground moves like literally under your feet. So I went to go step on a patch, and it was supposed to be like cling, 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 and I was like, like during a big show, like your foot just
you'd miss it.
you're missed where you're supposed to step. So
Gotta find your footing.
I mean, it's live music. It's anything can happen, right? So, But that's the beauty of a live show, is like you're watching it and like this is really happening in front of my eyes. This is the beauty of live entertainment.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
An actor doing a dialogue or singing a song or whatever, like anything could happen, and they're usually so perfect. It's mind-boggling to watch. I did just, the last few shows, I'm just watching them do their thing, and like, how do they memorize all those words and movements and like, it's just like, it's just amazing.
I don't understand that. Yeah,
It's just, I mean, as a musician, sometimes we read the part, sometimes we have it, but I just find like that element of theater amazing.
Yeah.
And talk about it being exposed. They're like just standing there, like
sure.
Like, I mean, that's just incredible.
I'm more scared of like comedians or like those like
That too,
actors, comedians. Those guys are like,
they got a microphone and a glass of water, right?
Music,
And they got to make it happen. Yeah.
Music, no problem. If you bomb as a comedian, that's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's silence.
Everyone wants to crawl out of their own skin in the audience because it's like, oh God, this is so uncomfortable.
You mentioned just there in terms of playing along with the actors and stuff like that. Now, is that done through like the musical charts? Is it done through like sight reading or mostly like chord charts? Like how is that? What's presented in front of you to play that?
So on a theater production, if you're in a pit, you're going to have the charts that you're reading along to. That'll have all the music and stuff like that.
When they give them to you, though, do they just give you the chart or you get the music?
These days with the tours coming, you'll get the charts. You'll get the audio recording. You'll get a video recording of the conductor. So there's always a person that's conducting the band, because he's sitting at the edge of the stage. He's watching the actors, so he's got to get the cues, and he's or she. And so female conductors a lot of times too. They're getting cue lines from the actors, and They're going to cue when it's time to go to the next section, or it's oftentimes as what's called a vamp. You might get 2 bars of music that's just repeated until, actors got something to say, and, the MD, the musical director, will be like this, and then he'll wait for a line, and then he'll be like this. So you got to be watching the MD.
Wow.
So you got a little video monitor to watch the MD. You got to read your charts. You got to make sure your pedals are all right. You're in the right spot. And if you're on a vamp, you're just watching the screen until you get this, and then you got to.
So it's a total juggling act.
Well,
It's
the guitar switches too, right?
The guitar patch changes, all these things. You have to be prepared at any
There's
moment.
acoustic and
Because
electric, though, is it not?
It's a lot of changes in terms of that.
Actual
too.
guitars,
and
you're...
some fast ones. Ukulele too. On Beetlejuice, it was ukulele.
Oh my gosh!
So and then the other fellow, Michael Murray, had an instrument. I can't even remember the name of the thing, but it's an Argentinian. It's almost like a. It's almost like a
bouzouki or
I forget what it's called. It's called a quattro. That's what.
Oh, neat.
And it's got actually 5 strings, but it's a beautiful sounding instrument. So he'd have to change that, and electric and acoustic. It's a lot of stuff that has to happen. But basically the only link between the actors on stage and the band is the conductor. So they're in charge of everybody. They got to be like. They got to be on it.
They know it inside and out.
They got to see what's going on, and this actor's and they're delivering this line, and then they cue the band. So that would be
that's a very organic thing. Like it's got to happen right there and then. You can prepare as much as you want, but it's happening on the spot, and you have to react to that.
Absolutely.
Right? And your lifeline there is your conductor.
Your conductor, yeah. So you got to watch them like a hawk.
Bottlenecks through the conductor, and they have to relay the visual to the audio and back and forth.
Yes,
what a juggling act!
Yeah, so that would be like so stressful. I
could imagine.
Applaud anybody that does that thing, because they're basically.
Well, I applaud you.
Well, but that's
wild.
That's the next level of being in the hot seat.
You used to always wonder why, though, when you go see an orchestra and stuff like that, like they always applaud the conductor. And as a little kid, I was like, well, he's not really doing anything. But they are so in touch.
Yeah.
They know that music so inside and out and backwards. They can hear it. They can hear sharp, flat notes, especially with like non-fretted instruments like violins. Those classical guys, they are on it. Their ears are insane. And
100%.
They're usually the best musician in the room all the time.
Oh, sure.
They're so on top of it. It's mind-blowing. The scale of that, I'm always in awe of, the ocean that is musical talent. You know what I mean? Like you got big fish, little fish, but every once in a while there's a whale that comes through. It's like, oh my God, that guy's scary what they can do. And
wow,
some of those conductors are those whales that go by where you're just like, wow.
Yeah,
like
they know their stuff.
I feel like a child talking music with those people because they're so much further advanced.
They know all the instruments. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Sure. That's like a life journey of music.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they have to be in touch with the whole thing. So basically, they're kind of running the show if you think about it.
Yeah, for sure they are.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And talking about shows. Well, do you have one more thing there?
Just to add that they're cueing actors a lot of times, right? If there's some.
Are they doing that too?
So it goes both ways. Like if there's a certain sound or instrument or whatever, or he'll have to cue. And a lot of times, if a lot of actors are singing together, they have to give like a cutoff for all the actors to end at the right spot, and it
really is like a back and forth.
It's total back and forth.
It's a dance back and forth.
The MD is just like. That's the most important person in a show like that, for sure, is the MD, because it's kind of everything. So, you got as somebody in the pit, you got to watch the MD and go like.
Well, both groups are working blind, right? Like the actors don't know really what the musicians are going to do, and the musicians don't know what the actors are going to do. Somebody's got to like.
So just imagine you're up here like that. We'd be like under the table right now. We can't see a thing. So.
But you have you said your video.
You got a video monitor.
You don't see any of the action on stage.
We're under the stage. It'd be like
wow, somebody
under the table now trying to follow us, right? So.
I thought maybe they do have like a 2 video system kind of going, but they don't.
You got a video monitor at like about this big.
Wow.
You got to put it on your stand somewhere where you can, look quickly and see everything that's going on, right?
That's pressure.
Yeah. Well, that's the gig.
But
that is what the rehearsals are for, though. I remember it seems. I've never done that kind of like high level stuff, but I did a bunch of small theater stuff when I was young.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of that stuff, it seems magical when you're watching the finished performance, but it's the product of a whole bunch of rehearsals and a whole bunch of execution, and it kind of gets mechanical after a while, and you go through it. Am I right about that? Yeah, like it.
Yes, it's funny you say that. Sometimes you get a lot of rehearsals, but for the tours that come in, you get one rehearsal.
Oh.
So the day of the show is, the first show is Tuesday night. You get one rehearsal for the first act, and then one rehearsal for the second act, and the show is tonight. So you got to be prepared.
So you have to do on your own time. You got to bring your chops, right? To know
so
what you're doing.
this is why they supply everything in advance, the charts, the video, and everything.
Yeah, but that's when I was doing it back then. That was before video and all that.
Yeah.
We didn't get nothing. Like you literally got the sheet music. We didn't even get the recording sometimes. It was terrible.
Yeah, the technology is there these days or whatever. The
processes.
But the amount of money that's on the line for a tour coming through, they got to be up and running as soon as possible, because in 6 weeks they have to be off to another city, and
all those
a one-day turnover.
Yeah, they're all getting scale too, aren't they?
Yeah,
everybody in the pits made scale.
So it's like a machine now. It's just got to be,
Wow.
So
unbelievable.
yeah.
Well, listen, we've got some sort of nice little food items here in front of us that this is our food portion of the show. So we like to kind of sample some things of Toronto, some of the things that Toronto offers. So I will hand it over to Tracy, because Tracy likes to feed people. So Tracy, what's all this about?
Hey, Riff. All right, so for today's show, I went with the Real Sports Bar and Restaurant right across from Scotiabank Arena in Maple Leaf Square. You guys are sampling their salt and vinegar jumbo wings, which are marinated in buttermilk and spices, then dipped in a crispy coating. So I chose Real Sports for two reasons. One, Gino's favorite indulgence, I think, is pizza. So I thought, why not do an elevated version of pub food, and Real Sports menu really does level up the popular wings, burgers, pizzas on a gastropub level. Secondly, this place does sound right. And I'm sure Gino appreciates when sound is done well and would totally notice their placement of speakers. So even though Real Sports spans 27,000 square feet, features a 39-foot TV and 199 additional TVs with a capacity of 1,000 people, their AV technology in this place is really amazing. They've also done a complete reno and includes the actual Raptors court floor, where Leonard made the trophy-winning shot back in 2019, one of the greatest moments in Raptors history, bouncing on the rim 4 times before going in. So, for food after the show, you'll be diving into their garlic parm wings, smashed sliders with cheddar and smoky barbecue sauce, Venetian pepperoni flatbread, and their Wimbledon salad with strawberries, watermelon, candied pecans, goat cheese, and strawberry vinaigrette. So whenever anyone is ready to talk, I would love to hear your thoughts on the wings. I guess my first question is, has anyone been in Real Sports and noticed the sound dynamics of that room?
Yes.
I've been there. You would probably have more ear for that.
Yeah, I love Real Sports. Real Sports, it's funny. A lot of people just think it's a place to go before the games and stuff, but their food down there is phenomenal. Their room's incredible. Like it's the size of that movie theater size screen for watching a game. It's incredible. But yeah, the sound in there, she's absolutely right. Like that is such a professional run place. Like it's so slick. Like you can hear everything clear, but you can still have a conversation. It's not blasting.
There's an art form in itself.
It really is.
All that sound.
A lot of restaurants you go through and they play music and they have stuff, but then you can't talk at all because you're sitting right under a speaker and it's blasting. My friend Martin goes bananas. He's a sound scientist and he drives me insane. He's like, dude, just move like 2 more speakers and this whole thing would be fixed. Like just the dispersion is a whole art in itself. Or you can't, it's like a shower head, right? You can't blast a person with sound like that. Nobody around here hears it, right? If you have enough shower heads, you can run them quieter and it disperses even, right? So a lot of restaurants don't realize that, but it makes people leave. Like it actually annoys them to the point of leaving.
They're just, it's too loud in here. Let's go. We can't even talk, right?
Yeah.
So the Real Sports got it down to a science.
They do. It's a great place anyway. Yeah,
and I will say their wings are down to a science.
I was just going to say, how are the wings, you guys?
The wings are good. They are nice. I didn't want to crunch into the microphone, but they're nice and crunchy. They're really good.
Yes.
I like the breaded.
Gino, have you been in that room?
I actually have played that room.
Oh, you have?
Oh, really?
You played it upstairs?
With the dueling pianos thing a few years ago. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's just right here, right?
Yeah, it's right downstairs.
Yeah. I've played there, with a fellow named Joel Lightman and Peter Kedar. Dropping more names here. They have a dueling, I forget which one, but it's a dueling pianos thing. And They asked me to fill in one time.
Oh, I know that show.
Yeah.
The two, four hands, two pianos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a great place. Yeah, for sure.
It's really good. And surprisingly down there, I'm always shocked at like stupid things. Like they do a pepperoni pizza and it's just the simplest thing. Like one of the kids we were with one time ordered the pizza and I'm like, oh my God, that is like I ordered it all the time now. It's like even the simplest stuff, they do such a good job. The food, whoever's doing the food down there, hats off. Like it's really well done.
It's important. These days, everything's so competitive. You got to be delivering like good food, good environment. Like, you know, the simplest thing could throw somebody off and go, oh, I don't like the way the pizza tastes or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, the speaker's like blasting on my ear. Let's go. Like you got to get people to stay.
Yep.
Well, let me give a shout out to Chris Hogg, the head chef, because he's doing a really good job now.
Yeah, he is.
Those are delicious.
And they do simple food too. Again, like wings and pizza, they're like pub food. I mean, I've had pub food. We've all had pub food and everywhere around it. It's like, how often do you go in and you go, man, this is incredible. Like I've had that experience down there a whole bunch of times. So.
Yeah. I do like wings, and those wings are good.
Yeah.
Those are delicious. So aside from wings and all this great food, let's get back to sort of talking music here. With 20 years performing in multiple styles like R&B, country, jazz, that kind of stuff, right? How do you approach switching hats between styles when you're on stage? Is there like a mode that you go into?
So it doesn't happen so much on like a band gig where you have to switch that off. It's more for the theater thing. Because any theater show is going to have like a bit of each sort of style of music like that. You have to be a Swiss Army knife. You kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. You know what I mean? You have to be able to play each style convincingly enough for somebody to go, yeah, it's somewhat legit. But
that's easier said than done, though, because you actually have to spend the time with that genre because they all work slightly different harmonically, right? So
absolutely. So, you know, you have to decide at some point in your career, do I want to be a specialist or do I want to be able to do a little bit of everything like that? Because there's not enough time in 5 lifetimes to be a master of all of those kind of styles of music. Yeah. Jeremy knows what I'm talking about.
That always drove me nuts when I was coming up, because when I was young, I always knew the kind of guitar player I wanted to be, but I always knew that it's going to take more work because I need to learn more things. It's like a lot of guys, some guys I was jealous of it. Like some guys are like, I'm a blues guy, and they just learned the pentatonic scale and then they mastered it, and they were way ahead of me in terms of using the pentatonic scale and playing the blues, but then they're struggling in all these other areas. I just generally struggled in all the areas for longer, and I kind of was always telling myself, don't worry, it'll come together. Like I was, you know what I mean? Like it takes time. You nailed it there. It's like you can't be everything. If you want to be a blues guy, you got to work on that. If you want to be a jack, like a Swiss Army knife, that's a lot of styles to cover. It's a lot of scales. Yeah. It's a lot of chords. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of everything. So, you know, not only with the actual playing itself, but knowing what kind of equipment to use for the right style of music, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, just certain guitars, certain pedals, certain things lend itself to certain style of music, you know. I mean, I showed up to my first lesson with Lauren Lofsky, who's, you know, one of the premier jazz guitar player in the country, along with Ted.
Toronto legend guy.
Yeah. I showed up my first lesson with a Les Paul, right? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, Lauren, like, I have a Les Paul. You know, I don't have like a jazz box, because jazz is traditionally played on like an acoustic archtop instrument. But, you know, there's people that break that rule. Ed Bickert, I mean, playing a country guitar, a Telecaster.
Yeah, Lager plays a Tele, like.
And yes, and being like a legendary Canadian guitar player. But, you know, Lauren just said, that's a Les Paul, man. I played a Les Paul on my first 2 albums. So immediately he, you know, made me feel at ease.
Right.
So
drop the rules. And
drop the rules and like, you know, so. But there are certain sounds that you need to get specific to different genres of music, you know what I mean? So,
and that's lightened up a lot over the years too. Like when we were younger,
the lines are blurred.
There was less, like it's like you had to have a Tele to play country.
That's right.
And like if you showed up to a gig, they'd look at you like a Les Paul, they'd go, what the hell? And you legitimately need that twangy tone. But nowadays there's been so much hybrid stuff going on that we've kind of broken some of those boundaries.
Yeah, because is that due to technology too as well that's helped us?
Well,
with
it's
that,
just,
or
I
to
guess,
blur the lines?
I think what's happened is that sonically, musicians are always looking for new areas to go into. It's like, that's been done before. So how many times can you use a telly on a country song? And it's like, that's great. It's a perfect sound. But some of the modern country players are kind of going, hey, what if we try it with like a neck position, Les Paul sound, and
more experimental.
And so over the time, there's just been more people experimenting and pushing those boundaries out. So now people are like, they just want to hear the end result. So it's less important now. But the stuff he's doing in the theater gig, if you're trying to ape like a country, if there's a scene, it goes into a saloon and you have to do a country bar, you have to have a telly for that thing, right?
Is that more like a stereotypical sound that you're going for then that connects with the audience?
Generally, yeah.
It's kind of a caricature.
It's a familiarization.
You kind of got to bang them over the head with this. like this is country. It's got to sound twangy or whatever. Or,
Right.
Like this is metal. Like Beetlejuice went from like ukulele to death metal within like 4 bars, right? So I'd literally like be playing the ukulele and put it down, and then like the next 4 bars, like. So you gotta like literally. That's the theater. That's
theater.
Smash them over the head with this thing, right? So,
like I say, it's like a caricature of those things.
Pretty much.
It's like,
here
we go. We're going into reggae, and it's like
exactly.
And it's all like,
but that's what works though. That's what
it
people
is.
that write the shows and do the music for know that you literally have to bang people, smash them over the head with these sudden drastic changes in music or whatever. So you got to make. As a guitar player, as a musician, you got to make that happen on every sort of level, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
No, it does, because I guess each piece of equipment has a sound, has a voice to itself.
Absolutely.
And you want to present that to represent a style of music. Or
well,
100%.
you must have had that in the animation stuff you've done over the years, right? Like I'm sure with animation, there's times when you're trying to like make the viewer feel they're in a certain place.
Oh yeah, sure, and even certain styles. Like you give like the technical side of things, where some things on, we have 24 frames per second, or you can do on 2s, where it's 12 frames per second, because of that kind of choppier sort of style, right?
Right.
Like the latest, those Spider-Man universe, Spider-Verse, whatever those movies, right? Those things are a very certain style that lends itself to a stylized version of a story that we've seen umpteen times. This offers a different flavor. So, you can kind of offer that too as well.
It's very similar, but that's what we're getting at. It's in music, it's that. In animation, it's that. Like you want NTSC lines if you're looking at an old TV, right?
For sure.
Like there's certain cliches that is like bang, and then everyone understands instantly we're watching an old TV, or we're in a Western bar, or we're down in the Caribbean. It's less important, the musical beauty at that moment. It's more about taking them to a certain locale.
Yep.
Right?
Feel a texture. Yeah.
If I can bring up an example, Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here, when it starts.
Yeah.
It's like a little radio.
Old radio, yeah.
And you hear like changing the channels, and the first little thing, and then it opens up and you hear it. It's
blooms.
like, wow, okay, now we're there in person, right? Like as a listener, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
It just blew my mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, right?
It opens up, like it takes you to a place, it takes you somewhere. That's what I love about really a good audio exercise that expands your listening capability, right? And it takes you to far off lands and all that kind of stuff.
Well, those old vinyl, the way we grew up, fortunately, was in the era of vinyl and all that stuff. And bands like Pink Floyd, when all you have is audio to paint the picture with, they had, like the Beatles would do it and all that stuff. There would be times you hear footsteps and doors closing and things like that, because you're trying to get the listener and use their imagination and move into those places. It's one of the things I love about prog rock and some of those early albums is it's just like you say, like it feels like you're listening on a radio.
It paints a picture, right?
Yeah, it's like a movie. It was like watching a movie at times.
Okay, so now in painting a picture and kind of offering some audio into visual, right? You also consider yourself an entertainer, right? So how does an entertainer differ from just being simply a guitarist?
So, the first obvious choice, somebody made me realize this a few years ago. So I happen to be lucky to be friends with a fellow named Joel Hoekstra, who's like an amazing guitar player. I got associated with him through Rock of Ages, and we talk every once in a while, but just reading interviews about the guy, but he pointed out, like, for him, he studied, he's an incredible player, but he goes back to, like, Angus Young, right? He's like, you watch the guy, and Angus is putting on a show. He's hamming it up. Like, you can't take your eyes off him.
Right.
So, obviously the music part has to be really good or whatever, but visually there has to be something to look at to entertain you. If you're in the crowd, if you're watching the show, it has to be more than just the music. That's another thing. You go to the symphony and you're there to hear the music, like, because it's played beautifully and brilliantly, but the symphony is not jumping off the rafters. No. It's a different experience, right? But like for a rock show or whatever, you go to watch ACDC, and there's this little man,
right, and
dressed in a schoolboy outfit.
And you do all that.
I do that with a thing that I do, yes, for sure. But Joel said, like, that's kind of the reason why I got into playing, is because you just want to entertain people. At the end of the day, you want them to come out of this thing, experience, and go, I had the best time for 2-3 hours.
Right.
I didn't think about my crappy job and my neighbors and blah, blah, blah. It's escapism. You get them to forget about all their troubles for 2.5 hours at least, and just be like, they're watching and they're listening, and it's an experience, right? So,
and how much do you do you enjoy putting on, like, the Angus Young costume and all that kind of stuff?
It's a riot.
Yeah, you have fun with it.
Yeah, it's a riot.
Great. That never ever gets tiring.
No,
I gotta say.
No, it gets tiring because I'm sore the next day. But
I'm sure. That's a different thing.
So, but yeah, I usually lose like 5 pounds of sweat because I'm like drenched after the first 2 tunes. But so, like, going back to when I first started playing, Angus for me was like a big influence, just because I heard the records and I liked it, but then I saw the first video. I'm like, who is this guy?
That Jailbreak video, man, when that came on, this is a kid in his pajamas, basically. Like, he looked like he was 15, too. Big, huge guitar on him.
I think the first one I saw was Just Shook Me All Night. Like, about, this is Angus? He's like a schoolboy? What the heck? And I thought, wow, that's brilliant, right? Mm-hmm. Because your eyes are on him the whole time. Where is he going to go? Like, he's over there. Oh, no, he's running around, circling on the ground or whatever, and now he's jumping off the stacks. Like, it's a show, right?
There's certain players that really did a character thing, like Slash with the top hat and all that stuff. Like, they had a character, like they looked like video game guys, like almost like superheroes. It's kind of a funny.
It's a superhero thing.
And one of the things I like that balances out ACDC. Yeah, you have Brian Johnson, lead singer, doing his thing, and Angus doing his thing, but then you got the guitarist and bassist just in the background, standing by the drummer, and then it's their time. March up to the microphone.
Yes.
All night long. March back.
Yep.
Come up to the microphone. Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
And back they go. They just do their job. They're like the working man musician, and they know their job. And I find yes, I'm watching the main show here, but I also watch those guys too as well, because that to me is like, that's kind of interesting too. They're just working guys. Yeah, they're superstar, there's rock stars,
supporters,
but they do their job.
But even like Brian had that hat, and he wore the same hat. He had a character too.
Yes,
it was the guy with the hat, and then Angus was the schoolboy thing, and Malcolm was the other dude in the back with his same guitar. He played that same instrument his whole career, and he stood in the back dressed kind of the same. Like they all were kind of in Kiss style character roles, but in less obvious things, right? That was kind of a funny little Kiss. Obviously pioneered that, but a lot of rock bands that's kind of a little bleed out from that in a subtle way. There was these guys that wore the same thing, like Zakk Wylde kind of did it with the circles and the hair, and they're like, there's a bunch of these sort of characters that they really worked on making them unique. Which is cool.
They know what works, right?
Well, that all kind of blends from the theater and from Gene got a lot of those ideas from the theater, right? Like,
I think just to reassure that, I think, as an artist, when they're developing this, they're like, what can I do to make myself look different from somebody else? Just so when somebody's watching, they can go, oh, that's Kiss, or, oh, that's definitely Zakk. So, you need to bring your own individuality.
The business part to the music business, right?
Well, yes, but like you got to sort of stand out and have your own sort of thing.
Sure.
So,
But you got to be good.
Yeah, got to be good. So I think for Angus and them, I think their sister said, why don't you just wear the scuba outfit for your thing? And
It turned into a career.
It's great.
I kind of think like, Malcolm and Cliff Williams, the bass and the guitar player, I think they probably thought, wow, if you're going to run all over the stage, you better get out of your way.
Totally. Yeah.
Stay out of your way.
Stay out of your way.
You go crazy and we'll just hang out in the back there and we'll sing once in a while.
Yeah. But I love that too. I love that they do that too.
So, in my ACDC show, we do the shtick like that. There's the two guys that just, they come up and they sing, and then when they're done, they go back and
do their thing.
Stay there.
They do their job.
That was in a lot of music, though. Judas Priest was like that, too. You had the two guitar players and the singer, but the bass player just sat at the back, just cranking. The drummer,
in terms of personalities, maybe some of the guys just don't want to do
That's
that.
the thing.
They want to be a part of it, but they're not out there, like being parading around the stage and stuff like that. It's not their style.
They're happy to just be in the wings and support, and I'm sure at one point Malcolm would have said, you play all the leads. I'll just hang back here. I'll play rhythm, and you, because
amazing.
But that's what makes that whole thing work.
Hey, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we're back.
We have a segment that we want to do today with, it's called The Long and the Short of It.
Yeah.
All right. So we have 3 questions for you that I want you to kind of give some thoughts, some sort of ponder some answers here for us. So we want to kind of touch on maybe past, present, and future here. All right. So looking back, what's the one influence, a thing, a person, a mindset that really set you a path to success, and kept you going?
So the difficult part is the one, because there's been many.
Yeah, it's hard to narrow down.
It's impossible, but
So let's go in 2 parts if we can. First would have been Ace Frehley, for sure.
we just lost him, too, so let's acknowledge that for a second.
For sure. So, but I think like, the thing that really set me would have been Angus Young. I mean, that's when I really started like, oh boy, I got to practice my instrument now. And, I learned that record from top to bottom, and then every other record around that. And, all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm in a band. So, I mean, even a few years ago, getting out of Humber College, I was like, to play jazz, you got to sort of forget about everything. You're talking about like stylistically learning a bunch of styles. At some point, you do have to devote 100%. So when I was at Humber, I'm like, I don't want to play any rock. Forget ACDC and Van Halen and all that stuff. I'm just this is what I got to do now. You have to really dive in. But at some point, it was like, that stuff's really good, man. I can't ignore that. It's a part of my musical upbringing.
It's in your DNA.
Sure. So, it's always there. So, and then I got asked to be in an ACDC band. I'm like, all right, okay. But I feel like I owe the guy, because I wouldn't have been playing guitar if it wasn't for him. So I'd probably say Angus Young.
Okay.
And I'm still paying tribute to him. So
Sure.
God
now,
bless
what about
him.
the present? So right now, imagine, let's just say you're sitting with Wayne Gretzky, Albert Einstein, and Gordon Ramsay, like people that are the top tier of their professions. What's the common factor that you see that runs through all those things in terms of what's driving creative success?
It's that word right there, driving. Like, I mean, obviously these 3 people were driven by something, some sort of higher power to tell them, like, every day, you have to do this, you have to do better, you need to just, you're here for something, you got to do something, some motivation that's just on a level that, from inside somewhere, that's just driving them to do these things. Gretzky, like, I mean, I hear stories about his dad, Walter, taking him to the ice at like 5 a.m. Just to practice, right? So, like, but you gotta get up every day and do that, Well, you know what it's like to get up at 5 a.m. It's like, oh, really? Do I have to? But he probably was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. You gotta, I find it, you gotta want it bad enough.
You gotta want it bad enough,
And you'll do anything getting up at 5 a.m. to make that happen.
Can you imagine Einstein with his colleagues and stuff? He's like, yeah, I think I found this relativity. Like, what are you talking about? You're nuts, man. And you see pictures of him, and he kind of looked nuts back then. But he figured something out in his mind. He knew, like, this is possible,
and
for
put
good or bad, but
right. And putting aside the naysayers and all that kind of stuff to go further with it, like even pick anyone that's had top tier success. You have to sacrifice and make your priority.
And just the other example, Gordon Ramsay. Like I love his shows. I watch his shows, and obviously he's a good chef. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that knocked up. Well, you could do a TV show about like fixing a restaurant. Like, are you nuts? Like, but he thought like this is going to make for entertaining television.
Sure.
But Amy's a good cook to start out with. Although I don't agree about putting peas in pasta carbonara. That's just not an Italian thing.
That's not what you do.
No,
You're allowed to.
No one don't like that.
No
huh?
peas in pasta carbonara. Okay. So anyway, but whatever. So here you go. I'm like being an naysayer to him, but obviously the guy's done well for himself.
For sure.
So, but yeah, just the drive. Like there's something inside people like that that's just like, I'm gonna do what I want. I'm not gonna listen to anybody. Like, I know I'm on a path, and I'm just gonna. Every moment of every day is like towards this thing of getting this thing done that's driving them to do this. Mm-hmm.
So what about the future then? So like going back to that same influence that fueled you, do you think future generations could answer with something very similar to that? Or are they facing like a different challenge in terms of creative attitudes? Like what are they going to be facing?
Well, if we're talking about music, it's very different these days. I mean, when I was growing up and learning to play music, I mean, we'd have record albums and we'd have the radio, and that was it. There was no internet. There was no Instagram. There was nothing like this kind of thing. Somebody getting into music now, I mean, streaming has like basically destroyed a lot of income for upcoming musicians, and that's a really tough thing to challenge, to face. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty challenging these days. You got to have like a lot of Instagram followers and whatever, and just it's so saturated now too. So
what do you think of AI coming?
I don't know.
Here. Already here.
It's here. I mean, anybody can kind of. I have a song idea for this and this, and it just pops up after. So I don't know. I mean, it could be good. It could be bad. I don't know. But do people realize that it's quote fake or real? I don't know. It's for me. It's too new to realize, but I know for myself, there's no replacement for somebody with real talent that's singing and playing for real, and or seeing somebody do it live. It's like nothing can replace that.
Human experiences.
Human experience. I don't know, like so. Yeah, technically it's amazing. You see the AI videos of playing, and I want to do a heavy metal song. Click, 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 click. Don't. It's done. It's like wow. Yeah. It sounds and looks great, but
not even just
real.
It's not even just creating something that's new. It's also creating something that sounds like things that have already existed for years.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you can make the next. I remember one that
the next Beatles song.
You can make a Beatles song. I've heard that when it was more AI music was more new, like a few years back. I remember someone did a Frank Sinatra album.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's
the whole album.
Well, a few songs anyway, I heard.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
I'm going, that is Frank Sinatra,
I know
but it's not. It's
Imagine
AI.
5 years from now.
Well, that's the thing. It's
going to be wild.
Expanding exponentially, like unbelievable.
Well, they've always predicted the future as being like, everything going to hell and impossible. But creative people have just always found a way to work. And I don't think human creativity is going anywhere. And I think young people are way more plugged into it than we are. So I'm trying to be optimistic about it. It's easy to be scared of it, but it's like I really think they'll find a way to do what we did. It's going to look very different. It's going to be very different, but I think they're still going to find a way somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know what it'll be. That's a really hard question.
It's I don't know. For me, it's too early to.
Yeah, we just don't know. I don't think anybody knows.
It's going to be challenging to navigate, but as a younger person trying to get into the field of music or whatever, it seems like it's pretty daunting. There's always going to be somebody coming along that's going to change the rules, like Wayne Gretzky or Michael Jordan or Eddie Van Halen, or it's going to be like, you think you know everything about it. Here's my stuff, and everybody's like, wow, that's amazing. There's always going to be somebody like that, I mean, like I just said, Michael Jordan. I mean, somebody like that could just changes the whole game. Like Eddie Van Halen, Eruption, like in a minute and a half, it was like, forget everything you know about guitar.
Yeah.
Here's what it is. And
Lightning
everybody
bolt.
went, what
Yeah.
the hell is that, right? So,
And it goes back to drive, it goes back to discipline, it
All
goes
that
back to all those things, consistency that builds you up to that, right?
Yeah.
And you achieve, and hopefully people recognize your achievement that puts you on that level.
there's going to be somebody that's going to take this whole AI thing and technology and hopefully do something that will be like that, to be like, this is what we can do, you know? Let's make it for good use, hopefully, rather than
Right.
nefarious.
I guess
or bad,
time
whatever.
will tell.
Time will tell.
And
Yeah.
speaking of time, I'm looking at the clock here, and I don't want to keep you longer than you have to be here. So,
having fun.
good. I'm glad you enjoyed. So I just want to say thank you very, very much for coming today.
Yeah, it's been great.
We really appreciate it here on the Riff to share your experience and your stories and all that kind of stuff. And I think that just a different perspective of having someone that's in the orchestra pit in theater. What a different take on things and what you can bring. So appreciate it.
Well,
Thanks
thank
for-
you. It's my
very much for
pleasure.
coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, anything coming up in terms of what maybe we can put it out there for people to get in touch with you, or
Well, you know, I mean,
watch you.
Now with purchasing my home, I'm hoping to get my own little sort of recording studio and start doing my own music as well,
Okay.
on top of things.
You got your Instagram handles and all that stuff? What do you?
All that, yeah. And my Instagram, my YouTube, I mean, it's all there for people to see. I'll be probably doing more content on YouTube and all this kind of thing like that. I'll be continuing with my tribute shows and the theater thing, obviously, too. And so lots of good stuff coming up. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Well, wow, that was a lot to take in. Nice. That's great.
Yeah, in terms of a guest that is absolutely a grocery list of credentials there to dispense information and the inside track on things that we kind of maybe just take it for granted when you go for a show, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm a good cook, too, so.
There you go. Yeah. We're having you back. Yeah. The Riff After Hours.
Let's do a cooking show.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, well, Jerry, what's going on in the city? What's happening coming up?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, the Blue Jays, that's nice. They just won last night, wrapped up Game 7. We're going to the World Series, so that's pretty crazy. That's kind of all everyone's talking about tonight, even though the Leaf game on, and yeah, a bunch of stuff happening. Sports are...
Go Jays.
Yeah, here we go. Let's hope they do it again. That would be nice.
Too long. Okay, well, again, thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. That's it for today. So that's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from him.